Today I'll be teaching how to make a simple sandstorm. It's really easy. First, what you want to do, open Houdini, get ready, get a new project, create a grid. You can control click and it'll create it right on the spot for you. From there, what you're going to do is you can use up here in the shelf tools, you could choose source particles, or you could go down in the network and click it yourself. Since I've already created it, I'll just keep going with this. From the grid, you can choose the birth of how long you want it to live. I don't want it to live too long. I'll just make it 5. I want to have one variancy, so that way it's not always the same, stopping at the same spot, like clean cut. Because I want to go up, a sandstorm goes up, I'm going to reverse gravity by making it positive. And then what you can do is, obviously a sandstorm is not just straight in the air. Look at that, flat. Add axis force, and any force you add will be thrown into this underneath the grid between the pop solver and your source. You can change the axis force, the radius, make it bigger to encompass your grid size, and the height, so that way it doesn't just stop working all of a sudden. Let's throw it up a bit. And then, if you look, you'll see some of it's being affected and some of it's not. That means we need to increase the radius. Having a slightly bigger radius is never really a problem, in my opinion. So now we see the swirling happening, which a sandstorm, I've never seen one personally, but typically they swirl and they come at you and they kill. So I think this is a pretty good swirl we got going on. Now while in a sandstorm you can't really see material, just to be safe, try to give it some color. We will add dirt, because that's very close to sand. That's not what I wanted. So select what you want to assign excuse me, the material to, and then press assign, and it should work. That's how I get it to work, so I hope it worked. I think it worked. It's so small, I honestly can't really tell. If you need to tell, what you can do is go into the network, somewhere in here. Now, as soon as I tell you, you can go to the network, I forget where you find it. You can find it under... Perhaps it didn't attach because I don't find it. But I am pretty sure last time I did this, it was here somewhere. Well, I'm just going to keep going because I honestly don't see a difference when it's so small. Now that's obviously living a bit too long because our force axis is not encompassing that at all. So I'm going to change the birth down to 2. Make it really, really, really fast. That's better. Good enough. So we got our swirling going on, and a sandstorm moves, so what we'll do is we'll keyframe this a bit. So what you can do is select the source, actually keyframe the grid object, and what we'll do is if you hit Alt and then click on these, you're keyframing the rotate and translate and whatever else. So I wasn't paying attention, but I just keyframed the translate up right there. Let's keep that actually. So then up here, delete the keys, because obviously I didn't mean to keyframe it all the way up there. At the very end, let's have it translate to, I don't even know, say 30? Is that? Yeah, I moved 30 across, and then we'll translate that. So, without any reference though, it's really hard to tell. So, what I am going to do is I'm going to add a camera. New camera. Through the camera, I'm going to first fix this. Make this lower. Ooh, did not mean to do that. Better, in my opinion, especially if you are on a laptop or a Mac, to first decide where you want to have the camera set and then click Add New Camera, because that is much easier you're trying to add the camera and then manipulate it afterwards, I find that extremely difficult. Ah, see, it moves though. So that means probably want it to be, I don't know, somewhere like here. Decent, decent. So now let's add a new camera. That way we get at least most of our sandstorm going off. It builds and then it blows off. Beautiful. You can also animate the camera. If you were to get out of the camera, you can then go click on the camera, which we have in the first one. And you can click, the first one, do the same thing again, where you alt-click on every single, and then when you want to move, you just sort of tell it, let's see, I want to physically move you, oh shit, pardon my language, this way. And then keyframe that again, and then look through it just to make sure that's something you want. Obviously the camera moves a little bit. Nothing beautiful, but we follow, we pan a bit. It's nice. I'm going to save just to be safe. Make sure you know where you're saving your... Just be safe. I don't know what I just did. Make sure you know where you're saving. That way you can find it, and that way you don't have any problems. Oh no, turn off. So right now what we have is a sandstorm moving from left to right, and sort of going off, dying, moving, camera moving. And then from that, if you wanted to, you could go in the camera and add a background image of a desert. You go into view, under background image, and I had a background image, but now that I have to find it, this will take too long. But you can add a background image if you want, and that way you can have a nice deserty look behind you. Let's see. Makes it so difficult. Houdini really needs to fix the way they find things. Accept it. So now if you look through the camera, nope, camera. We're in the desert all of a sudden. Obviously, we don't want to